Fanfic Corner, presented by Animal Girl. Child of the Ghost, Chapter 3, Our Little Family, written and read by Animal Girl. Okay everyone, before I get started, I'd like to say two things. First off, if you have not seen my previous two videos on Child of the Ghost, Chapter 1, The Child from Lothal, and Chapter 2, First Night, I suggest you go check those out right now, so you will be up to date on what is happening in this video. Secondly, if I mispronounce the Minister of Lothal's name, I apologize. If you've seen any of my other Star Wars videos, you know that sometimes the names are very hard to pronounce. So again, and hers is one you didn't hear very often. So again, I apologize for that as well. Okay, now let's get on with this. Let's continue with the story. Slowly but surely, the droid, the Twi'lek, and the two humans were becoming a family. Ezra seemed to be the missing piece that changed them from a crew to a family, and it had only been 2 weeks since Kanan and Hera found him. The 8-year-old followed all the rules and was very smart. Once establishing where he was in school, Hera and Kanan began his lessons on board the Ghost. Hera taught Ezra grammar/spelling and math, while Kanan, because of his Jedi training, taught him language and history, though Hera helped with the Twi'lek language and Ryloth history lessons, while everything else they traded off. And it wasn't long before a new member joined the crew, when Chopper liberated an analyst droid designated AP-5 from an Imperial freighter. As thanks for giving him his freedom back, AP looked after the Ghost, and sometimes Ezra, when Kanan and Hera were away. Tola, the minister of Lothal, met with them the day after Kanan and Hera found Ezra, and told them that, after looking into every record she could find, Ezra had no other known relatives. That left the Twi'lek and former Jedi free to keep Ezra on the Ghost, but there was still the fear that the Imperials could take him away from them. Their only course of action was to officially adopt the boy, and the best way to make sure that happened was if they were husband and wife. So, following Mikhail's advice, Kanan and Hera were married. It's not like it wasn't something that was going to happen eventually. Even Ezra could tell they liked each other, and he had only known them for half a day. Mikhail fast-tracked both the marriage license and the adoption papers, made sure that everything was in order, and got Governor Price to sign off on both without actually reading them. That's when the real adventure began. Hera, can I ask you something? Ezra asked one morning while the Twi'lek was making breakfast. Of course, she said without turning away from the stove. Don't breakouts happen to teenagers? Hera turned around. Red bumps covered Ezra's cheeks and forehead. Oh no, she said, kneeling down and pushing up Ezra's sleeve, discovering more red bumps on his arm. Kanan! It's itchy, Ezra said, scratching at the bumps on his arm. I know, Hera said as Kanan came into the kitchen. Don't scratch, though. What's wrong? Kanan asked, kneeling next to his wife and adopted son. Look at this, Hera said, showing Kanan the bumps on Ezra's arm. Kanan looked at the bumps. Looks like someone has the chicken pox, he said. Is that bad? Ezra asked. No, Kanan said. Almost all kids get chicken pox. I had them when I was your age. So did I, said Hera. You're going to have to stay on the Ghost for a standard week, though. Okay, Ezra said, but it's still itchy. We'll get you some caramine lotion. That'll help. Will you and Kanan get sick? No, once someone has the chicken pox, they can't get it again. Hera dabbed the last bit of pink lotion on the cotton ball onto Ezra's skin. It had been 2 days since Hera and Kanan discovered that Ezra had chicken pox, and they were doing everything they could to make him comfortable. Mostly, it was just playing games with him and letting him watch movies on the datapad they'd gotten for him. Mostly, it was The Hobbit and The Flight of Dragons, but the 8-year-old had also gotten to like The Last Unicorn and The Land Before Time. As for his lessons, they were on hold until he felt better, though Kanan had started teaching him meditation to take his mind off of how much the bumps itched. "Okay, time for bed," Hera said. "How much longer until I can go outside?" Ezra asked as he got into bed. 5 more standard days, Hera said, tucking him in. "How do you feel?" "It's still itchy." "I know, baby. Try not to scratch. Though." "Hera?" Ezra asked as she picked up Nicholas St. North in the Battle of the Nightmare King. They were determined to finish it. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course, sweetheart," Hera said, turning to look at the boy. "Do you think my parents would mind if I called you and Kanan Mom and Dad?" Tears began to form in the Twi'lek's eyes. "No, I don't think they would." Ezra hugged Hera, and she looked up to see Kanan in the doorway. She smiled, knowing he had heard her conversation with Ezra. Hera opened the holobook as Kanan sat down on the bed with her and Ezra. This was a nightly ritual that all 3 of them looked forward to. After 2 chapters, it was time for bed, but Ezra was still slightly awake. "It really is time for bed," Hera said to the 8-year-old. "I'm not sleepy," Ezra said through a yawn. Hera smiled. She knew what would help her adopted son fall asleep. She leaned forward and softly sang the very song her mother used to sing to her when she was a little girl. "Don't lose your way with each passing day. You've come so far, don't throw it away. Live believing, dreams are for weaving, wonders are waiting to start. Live your story, faith, hope, and glory, hold to the truth in your heart. If we hold on together, I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever, where clouds roll by for you and I. Souls in the wind must learn how to bend. Seek out a star, hold on till the end. Valley, mountain, there is a fountain, washes our tears all away. Words are swaying, someone is praying, please let us come home to stay. If we hold on together, I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever, where clouds roll by for you and I. When we are out there in the dark, we'll dream about the sun. In the dark we'll feel the light, warms our hearts, everyone. If we hold on together. I know our dreams will never die. Dreams see us through to forever. As high as souls can fly, the clouds roll by for you and I. Kanan smiled as Hera kissed Ezra goodnight. He loved to hear his wife sing, something she was doing a lot more of since Ezra came to live with them. Her voice was so lyrical, and she could change octaves so easily and fluidly. He had no idea if it was something all Twi'lek could do, or something completely unique to Hera, but he still thought it was beautiful. Something's different, Kanan said later that night as he and Hera got into bed. It feels like something has changed. Something has, Hera said as she snuggled up to her husband. The Ghost is no longer just a ship, and we're no longer just a crew. It's our home, and we're a family. Several hours later, Kanan woke up to find Ezra sleeping between him and Hera. At some point during the night, the 8-year-old must have crawled into bed with them. Ezra held his red and yellow stuffed Loth cat close to his chest, while Hera had her arm around him. Kanan smiled and put his arm around his wife and adopted son. Family, home, he thought. I never had that before, even at the temple. But it feels like this was meant to be. Hera's right. We're a family, our own little family.